if you look at what the world situation is like today, and the hundreds of different kinds of things that afflict the world today and the situation that we are in today, whether it is the different kinds of conflicts that are there, whether it's the political situations, whether it is the financial situations, or whether it is just a madness of chaotic, just running around, busyness that we have created. In all of this, I really think Buddhism is that one single method that has tremendous possibilities to offer to humankind. Not as a religion, not as a philosophy, not as a doctrine, but as a way of sitting back and thinking about basic human values that in the madness of every chaos that we have created, we've probably very fast losing it completely. And so Buddhist teachings don't have to necessarily be a spiritual practice. As we always say, if it is a spiritual practice that inspires you to really do something good, take it as a spiritual practice, as many of us have done. But on the other hand, there is a way to live life with deeper awareness and contemplation, not a meditative contemplation, but the simple fact, as we say in Dharma, in Buddhist teachings, you have the capacity to think, why don't you use that a little bit more, and why don't you use it in a little bit better way? So that's contemplation. Human beings have the capacity to really be able to develop humane qualities. And I think if there is a path of practice that can inspire people to think this way, then Buddhism, I think, is able to do so, because its whole philosophy is deeply immersed within, giving birth to human nature and human values and human qualities, human potentials. Every moment knowing that you have a potential to either do it in the right way or to do it in a wrong way. And the Buddhist influences develop the mindfulness to know the right way, to be on the right way. And that couldn't be, I think, in any way sort of a difficult or a problem for anyone, but it could only be something that is inspiring and good, that is required by everyone to practice. Call it Buddhism, don't call it Buddhism, that doesn't matter. But so long as its philosophy is able to instill in every human being the capacity to discern between what is right and wrong, and to walk the path of right, I think Buddhism has much to offer in that context. It's a fact that there's going to be growth and strengthening of Dhamma in the West, and we've begun to coin the word westernization of Buddhism. That's definitely true. It does seem to be very strongly moving to the West. Nothing is lost in translation, but there is always a probability of which we have to be very careful. Because one of the tendencies in the modern world we find is to be selective about things that are what we think is suitable. But suitability often is connected to convenience. And therefore things mustn't be gauged in the context of what is convenient. It must be gauged into what is needed and what is useful, and among them many things will be there that are not convenient to the Western mind, but it is necessary if habitual patterns and neurosis have to be broken through. So I think the main emphasis that people will have to keep in mind is to embrace the teachings without bringing in too many alterations that are based upon what it is that you would like and what it is that you think are outdated and something that you do not like, which may be just a perspective of a mind that is looking for convenience. Certainly, we cannot say that everything that the East has done in the context of holding the Dharma have been faultless. Of course, a lot of things have altered when it went from, even when it grew in India. And historically, if we look at Buddha's passing away and then the first, second, and then the council meetings that happened, we see changes evolving, growth evolving, and structures changing for a little bit. And then, of course, the advent of Buddhism into Tibet saw other changes, and then it conformed to a certain tradition and a certain culture, a certain country's background. So keeping that in mind, I think in the West also, there are many things that will sort of the vessel which holds the Dharma in the West, and according to the shape, the Dharma will go through some changes that are there. And I'm sure, with all what the Western mind is capable of knowing and really deepening its understanding, it will benefit how the Dharma is continued into the future. Things may change, things may shift from being sort of a more religion to a more philosophical outlook, may happen. But how it will happen, and making sure that it doesn't lose any of its core meaning in the process of any changes, that I think is very necessary. But of course, as you said, West has much to offer in being able to probably make Dharma even better. Not that the Dharma itself needs to be made better, but the context within which it is practiced, that it is able to benefit even more people. I'm sure that will happen.